Hey, I hope all is going well and you're having a beautiful, blessed day. Today is a gushing episode about yesterday's episode of Pushing Forward with Alicia. Pushing Forward with Alicia is an amazing podcast that my sister in this disability community, Alicia Anderson, does every Thursday. She puts out episodes. And this episode for this week was particularly phenomenal. All her episodes are amazing, but this episode was particularly phenomenal because she had our other sister, Allie Stroker, on the show. And if you guys don't know who Allie is, let me give you a rundown. Allie Stroker is the first person to ever lay legit wheelchair tracks on a Broadway stage. Now, okay, so you might be thinking Nessa Rose was a wheelchair user. But up until last year, Nessa Rose was not a legit member of our community. She was a non-disabled actress playing a disabled role. It was only in 2024. I'm like getting tongue-tied. It was only in 2025 that we actually got the legitimacy on stage. Okay, so Allie was also, before her Broadway career, she was also a roulette. And she began her journey with the team when the team began. She met the founder of Roulettes back in the day at an event that they were at. And Chelsea ended up reaching out to Allie as one of the women that she wanted to start dancing with. So that's how the Roulettes were born. That Chelsea just reached out to a bunch of her friends, a bunch being 8, I think, or 6. I'm not quite sure on the numbers. But anyways, Allie was one of the first Roulettes ever. So having that lineage, that shared dance lineage with her is amazing. Even though I'm not a Roulette, but I've been through the Boundless Babe program and I've been through Roulette's experience and been influenced by that. That is one of the biggest reasons why I consider Allie Stroker a sister of mine. But if you know the disability community for what it is, we are all we are legit all family. We take care of each other, we watch out for each other, and it's just amazing. But with that said, let me get to the gushing part about Allie and Alicia. Yesterday's episode was, like I said, it was phenomenal. Allie and Alicia talked about everything from Allie's beginnings to writing her 3 books. She's written a book called Allie and the Sea Stars, which is a preschool aged book that follows Allie's journey falling in love with theater at the beach, because she's from New Jersey and she spent time at the Jersey Shore in the summer. So basically that is where she fell in love with theater, like at the beach. And her first production of Annie was at her beach home. And Rachel Antonoff, who is Jack Antonoff's sister, created this production when she was 12 years old. And that is how Allie got the bug. Fast forward many, many years later, Allie was told by her representation that she would be the first woman or the first person ever on stage who actually used a wheelchair and who actually was a disabled person. And this was in 2015 with Spring Awakening. And so she broke, she broke that barrier. And then many, many years after breaking that barrier, I think about 4, but I can't do math right now, she won the Tony for Oklahoma. And what I really appreciated about Allie's comments, and the moment that made me cry, was that she said that not only was her performance and her win a dedication to the disability community, but it was also a call to action. And that is very, very much how it felt. First, I have to say that when I was watching the Tonys that night, the first thing I did was say, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. It's just a Tony win. No big deal. I've seen the Tonys before. But when she won, I cried like a baby. Because I knew that it was that call to action, because it was like, yes, we finally broke through, even though it was very much her award. It was an award for all of us to say that, or it was a way for all of us to say that now you need to look at us and you need to not be afraid of us and just start asking us questions, like legit questions. And I'm not talking about the hateful comments that I get on my favorite videos. I'm talking about asking legit questions at appropriate times. So when Allie won, it really did feel like a call to action. I remember that back then I was a Beachbody coach, and I was making videos for my Beachbody community. I had my public page, and that's what it was. And I had my Instagram, and that's what it was all about. But I just felt so like many others, like a lot of us. I just felt like so seen and so validated. And I was like, wow, there's somebody out there like me who's actually showing the world that we are capable of doing much, much more than what we are being portrayed as. And so having that experience was so, so amazing. And Allie came home to RE in 2024. And when I met her, I sobbed like a baby. I could barely get my name out. But I just started crying because here I am literally sitting in front of the woman who told everybody what we were capable of. And so I cried like a baby. But then when I stopped crying, I said, I want to be the first actual green girl who is the green girl. My dream is to have a fully rolling, fully disabled production of Wicked. And I want to play Elphaba. And I know the people that I want to go into this with and have them play the other characters. I'm casting it in my head. So I know everybody that I would want to work with. And hopefully someday we will get this off the ground. Because I feel like the world needs to see more theater with disabled talent in it, but not necessarily playing a disabled character. I know Elphaba would be somebody who was different and looked at. She's one of the characters, I believe, in the theater world who would be looked at like the way we are looked at. Because when you don't know about someone or about their disability, then it's scary. And that is where all of the fear and all of the comments come from, I think. Is because if you don't know us, then you're more likely to say something that is inappropriate. But that doesn't mean that keyboard courage is right. But anyway, I just wanted to say that. And the last thing I was going to say is that both Allie and Alicia have taught me how to roll into a room and own the space like I belong there. Particularly Allie, but Alicia has too. Through her example and the way she lives her life. But Allie actually said during a confidence seminar that she hosted at Rolex Experience last year, so 2025, she said that we deserve to roll into any room we want to be in. And that we should roll into the room like we belong there. And that also, if people aren't ready for us, then that's fine. But that we shouldn't be ashamed of how we look or how we get around. And I'm really taking that to heart. And the last thing she said was that we should roll into the room with front row energy. Like, we belong there. We belong to be in the middle of things. And just be joyful about who we are, how we roll, like literally how we roll, and the things we have to say. So you guys, I hope that all is going well. This is episode 490. I'm so excited we're here. And the way that we got here was yesterday. I posted a short 1-minute episode. And so that's how that was 489 and this is 490. So that's how we got here. But we are quickly approaching 500. So please get your questions in because I really do want to do a Q&A for 500. If I don't do a Q&A, it's not the end of the world. I'll just do a recap of why I started Encouragement Notes and keep on going from there. But I love you guys so much, and I appreciate every single one of you. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Bye.